All right, friends. So listen, let's talk about my 5 favorite tools right now. I got to tell you that when Nell and I were talking about this podcast episode, and I told her my very first thing on my list, she had to correct me, and I was like, "Gosh, am I 800 years old? I might be." So I told her, I go, "I want to tell them about my new iPods," and she goes, "They're AirPods." I'm like, "Crap." So number 1, I'm gonna tell you about my new iPods or AirPods. Okay, listen. So I got those new ones, you guys, that have out like the noise canceling things and all of the things, and I am loving my new AirPods. There, I said it correctly now, and I got to tell you why. Because I love wearing them, and I know this does have to do with business. I love wearing them on walks, and I can listen to podcasts. I love wearing them to the doctor's office, and I can listen to messages from my team. I can listen to podcasts. I can listen to training calls. I love having them in an airport. You guys remember when we used to go to airports? That was fun, right? And so I love having them on a plane. I got to the point where I was wearing them even to places like the grocery store. And I'm like, Jen, take them out of your ear. Actually look at people in the face, smile. You only go to the grocery store once a year because I hate the grocery store. Is it just me, by the way? I hate spending money on food, except if we're going out. Like I hate spending money in a grocery store. It's probably me. And so anywho, if you've considered getting AirPods and you're like, I just don't know if I would use them. Yes, you would. You would absolutely use them. If you are in my coaching group, you'd use them to listen to my coaching calls. Possibly you're listening to my podcast right now on AirPods. So in terms of my 5 favorite tools, AirPods, that's one of them because it helps me to be able to listen to things when I would normally just be sitting there like twiddling my thumbs, thinking, what can I do? And then I'm just scrolling through Instagram and, I could be utilizing that time. So number 1, AirPods. Number 2, okay, I have this thing, you guys. It's from a company called Archon. Okay, so here's what the Archon mount looks like, all right? It is this handy dandy thing that I set on my desk. And if you're listening to this podcast, you want to see what it looks like, go over to YouTube right now. Go over to YouTube because you can see the podcast instead of just listening to it. So this mount sits on my desk and it holds a tablet, an iPad, and my phone at the same time. Now, here's why I love it. The best, quickest, fastest way to grow your social media right now is live streaming. It just is. It's live streaming. So people always want to ask me, Jen, do I go live on Facebook or do I go live on Instagram? I'm always like, okay, listen, data don't lie, and the data still shows everybody's on Facebook. So go on Facebook. But if you have one of these stands and you have an extra device, then you can be going live on Instagram at the same time. See, the thing with Instagram, this is the kind of things that I teach people in my coaching group. The thing with Instagram is the lives are gone within 24 hours. So I don't want you to put a whole lot of energy into that because it disappears. Put it onto Facebook. And then also, if you have something that holds a second device like the stand, then you can easily go on Instagram at the same time. So if you're wondering where to get this mount at, send me a DM on Instagram. I'll give you a link there. I'm trying to remember if we have a coupon or anything. I don't recall. My team's going to be like, why didn't you check that first? And I'm going to be like, because you know me. And I think of things in the middle of stuff. And so anyway, send me a DM on Instagram. I'll let you know if we've got a coupon for that mount. So that was number 2. Third thing, that's my favorite tool right now. It's still Zoom, baby. It's still Zoom. So I know different things are popping up. Facebook's, making rooms. And I just saw that there's something on Google now with rooms. And I got to tell you, I'm still a Zoom girl. I am currently recording this podcast in Zoom and Audacity at the same time. We'll use the Zoom recording on the YouTube platform. But I love Zoom. I love that there's an option of a Zoom meeting, which is currently, what I'm using, or a Zoom webinar. Now, what's the difference? Well, the webinar is what I use in my inner circle. The inner circle is where I coach, almost 2,000 women every month on how to use social media to build a business. I do all of my training inside of Zoom. 3 times a month, there's training that's recorded and I use Zoom. Once a month, there's a live Q&A. That's when I use Zoom's webinar feature to bring other women's faces up onto the screen with me. Because here's what I know to be true. Sometimes you're just like bumping up something, getting something in your business. You're like trying to get over a hump. You're trying to figure it out. And you think if I could just ask my coach, my biggest cheerleader, my mentor, this one question, or how she would handle this one thing, or I needed this one resource. If I could do that, That would be amazing. Well, yeah, it's great to like, type it up in our inner circle Facebook group. But what's even better is if I can say, hey, Nancy, and bring Nancy's face up on the line. If I can say, hey, Nell, and bring Nell's face up on the line. If I can say, hey, Sally, whatever, and bring her up on the line, because that's how you actually build relationship with people, when you're actually talking. Does that make sense? And so, the thing is, the world right now is desperate for relationship. They're desperate for it. This is why we're launching like a whole new thing of book clubs for Fear's Not the Boss of You, because we have been at home, whether right or wrong. Okay. This is just a fact. We've been at home since March. We have, many people are still sheltering in place. In many parts of the United States, the world still isn't open, and people are still at home, and God created us for community. He did. We're meant to like be in relationship with people. And it's one thing to think that you can be in relationship just by, texting back and forth and talking back and forth, but to actually see each other's faces, that makes everything so different. So Zoom, still on my top 5 favorite tools in my business, because you're able to pull people up. You're able to do your own recordings that can be used in other places. I love it. It's worth the money. If you are running a business and you're like, I don't know. I don't know if Zoom is money well spent. Yes, girl, it is. Go get yourself a Zoom account. Nothing in that for me. 4th thing, Voxer. I'm still going to talk about Voxer forever. I love Voxer. Okay. My team likes Slack. No Slack here. Jen likes Voxer. And I'm going to tell you why. I am a verbal processor all day long. Now, I didn't know this about myself years ago. I didn't realize that as I talk it out, I figure it out. Any of the rest of you like that? If so, tag me on Instagram, will you? As I talk it out, I figure it out. So, there's days when I open up my inbox and I feel so much anxiety. Now, of course, I still have Vicky, who takes care of all the emails, that go to the company. Oh, look at that. I have paint on my arm. But I still have a full inbox of things that my team needs from me, of, requests to be on podcasts and answering different questions and those sorts of things. And so a lot of times I'll open up my email and I just want to get hivey. Does anybody else feel hivey? By the way, if the one thing in your business that you feel the most hivey about, that's where you hire help at in your business first. When you get to the point of where you're like feeling anxiety about a certain thing, whether that's creating your own social media posts, whether that is writing your own blog posts, whether that is opening up your email, whether that is editing your own podcast, whatever brings you that level of anxiety, that's where you hire help at first. I don't care what any other coaches are telling you. Gosh, don't get me started on what other coaches are telling you. Nell, next week, let's talk about other coaches. I have a whole podcast. I have lots of thoughts of the coaches that are wanting to put you in a box and give you the 1, 2, 3 method. There is no 1, 2, 3 method. There isn't. You don't have to hire first somebody to do X, Y, Z in your business. Hire first the person that's going to bring you the most peace, for the position that creates the most angst for you. Is angst a word? Maybe I was supposed to say anxiety. Anyhow, okay, so back to what I was originally talking about, which is that I love Voxer. I love Voxer because it decreases the amount of emails that I get from a team. And we have, a team of 9 here on Team Allwood. And so we have about 15 different Voxer channels of different, in this one, it's, I'm talking about social media. In this Voxer channel, I'm talking about podcasts. And this is the Voxer channel for everybody in the entire company. This is the Voxer channel for people that are employees versus contractors. And so does that make sense? Like, I love Voxer. It's a walkie-talkie, by the way. Did I say that at the beginning? I didn't. It's also free, I believe. Don't make me a liar, Voxer. I hope you're still free. It's free unless you want to upgrade to the version where you're able to like recall messages and things like that, which it's cheap enough for me that it's very inexpensive. I completely suggest that you upgrade. But Voxer is just a quick way to communicate. Now you're going to say, well, how is that any different than by texting people? Well, number one, I don't text my employees unless I really have to. I want their texting to stay for their best friend and their grandmother and their friends. I don't want to be as somebody's employer, somebody's boss for all practical purposes. I don't want to be like the one that's showing up, on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock texting them. No, I'll Voxer them all day long though. And they know, my team knows that I don't expect them, to answer on nights and weekends, but So it's different because number one, it's not showing up in a sacred place that I don't want to be in, because I want that to be a place where it's just the people that they really want, not the person that they're working for. Number two, you can push a button. There's settings inside of Zoom where you can just push a button and then you're putting on your makeup, but you're leaving a whole 3-minute message from somebody. Does that make sense? You can also speed up how fast you listen to things back. So it's not like on the iPhone where also it's not like on the iPhone when you know how you're in the middle of leaving somebody like a 4-minute message and then your 18-year-old son like calls you in the middle of it and you're like, darn it, Noah. God bless it. Now I got to go back and redo that whole thing again. Voxer's different. So I completely suggest Voxer. I love Voxer. It's a fast way to communicate. I'm so grateful for it. Number 5. I'm going to tell you 2 things, I think. So there's an app called Mentions. And Mentions is an app that Mackenzie on my team told me about. And you can connect it like to your email. Hopefully I'm going to explain all this right. So for us, since I just wrote Fear is Not the Boss of You, one of the things I didn't realize about writing a book is that people would do things with my book all like off on their own. Like it's crazy to me. One of the reasons we've started having book clubs is because so many of you were doing them on your own. And I was like, wait, this is crazy. People actually want to use Fear is Not the Boss of You in a Bible study and in a book club. Like that's nuts, right? I didn't realize that was going to happen. I also didn't realize that people would actually do blog posts, like critiquing the book. I mean, all good, by the way, writing about it, that they would also have like little radio clips with Fear is Not the Boss of You. I didn't realize any of that. I didn't realize that there, in addition to things like the New York Times bestsellers list, that there are also other lists, Publishers Weekly, let's see, what were some of the other ones? The Washington Post list. I wouldn't have even known that we hit that list, you guys, if it wasn't for that Mentions app. Because basically what the Mentions app does is it sends me an email when I'm mentioned somewhere on the internet. I'm not talking about like a Facebook tag or an Instagram tag, but I'm talking about something is wrote in an article. Now listen, one of the things that makes this important is we are not verified. I am not verified on Instagram. And I have, almost 100,000 followers on Instagram. And it has been shared with me. Oh, the puppy's laying right below me and she's having a dream. And they make those little puppy noises. And I'm always like, I want to wake her up. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but she's precious. So one of the ways that I've been told that you get verified on Instagram is when there are articles wrote about you on the internet. And it's interesting that I didn't even realize people write articles about things that you do and things that you say and books that you write on the internet. So anyhow, the Mentions app is really cool. Now, I know I was supposed to like only go with 5 things, but I just thought of another thing. So I want to give you one more thing. One more favorite tool that I have right now is the Creators Studio app on my phone. So if you are in my coaching group, if you're already in my coaching group, you already know what I'm talking about. And if you're not, you can send me a DM on Instagram. Creator Studio is where they want you to create content now for your Facebook page. And they keep updating Creator Studio, thank goodness, because you used to not be able to do any editing of posts in there. And that defeats the whole purpose. So I really am enjoying the Creator Studio app. Go to your app store, it's free. Basically, you can see the insights on your page. You can see followers, whether it's up or down. You can see recent posts and who did what with it. And so just know that the Creator Studio is a really cool option. It really is. And it works hand in hand with your Facebook Pages app also. The truth is, I kind of wish Facebook would really start leaving this alone, because right now I have 3 different Facebook apps. The blue one for my friends, family, dog pictures, vacation, etc. The orange Facebook Pages app for my business, and now the Creator Studio. So it's all of the things, right? It's a lot of things. But those are my top 5 in no particular order. My AirPods, my Archon mount, my Zoom, Voxer, the Mentions app, and Creators Studio. So if you've been listening to this on the podcast app and you're like, I really want to see what she's talking about with this Archon mount, go over to YouTube. And if you didn't know that I have a YouTube channel, I do. We put all the podcasts on YouTube. So if you really prefer to watch instead of just listen, then subscribe. Just hit the subscribe channel while you're there. We've also got some really good trainings over on YouTube. Things like how to build, your Instagram following. I've been releasing some trainings over there that they're exclusive to YouTube. I don't have them on Instagram or Facebook. So hit subscribe over there. And I hope that this was helpful for you. I appreciate you being here week in, and week out. You're a blessing to me. Until next week, take care. Bye-bye.